There is a Michigan football game tomorrow. On Saturday, we're all talking Ohio State. That's the focus, but still have one more game to go to get to 10 wins for the season into the Ohio State game, remain in the top 6 in college football playoff. So, going to give you guys the opportunity to win $25. Going to bring the Venmo score prediction winner back, but a little caveat this time. We didn't get as many of these in the past seasons. Maybe we didn't have as big of an audience 2 years ago. Maybe last year people were too mad that Michigan was losing all the time. And so it's been really tough to track all the comments and yada, 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 making sure people got it in on time. So to qualify for the score prediction, just type in the score, Michigan, Maryland, who, of course, wins. Maryland, Michigan, I'm sure it's Michigan, but you got to say it. But just use the hashtag score at the end. It makes it really easy to filter for us in the comments. We go through them, make sure that we reward the person with Venmo who gets the score right. So predict the score. Do it now because it's the first come, first serve. We can only give away one winner, Michigan, Maryland. And hopefully you win $25. I'll reply to your comment, and then we'll get your Venmo and send it over. All right, we are going to talk some Michigan football rumors, news, keys to the game going into this Maryland game coming up right now. And Michigan will face Maryland, as I said, tomorrow. We're still 7.5, I guess 8 days, less than 8 days away from Michigan and Ohio State. I've been thinking about it all week. The second Michigan beat Penn State, I was in full-on Ohio State mode, thinking about that game. And apparently Michigan has some allies in the state of Ohio. So check out this tweet. A member of the Greater Cincinnati media said, the Xavier band was with some solid trolling playing Hail to the Victors while showing Ohio State fans in the crowd on the Jumbotron yesterday. That was during the Xavier-Ohio State basketball game last night. He had a video that accompanied to it on Twitter, so if you want to check it out, at Chris_Renkel, if you want to check that out. I thought it was funny for two reasons. One, you're in the heart of Ohio, Cincinnati. Some people might say, okay, that's close to Kentucky. Whatever. It's in Ohio. They're playing Hail to the Victors to troll Ohio State. Number two, hey, it worked, right? The team playing Hail as the Victors beat Ohio State in the month of November. I don't care if it was basketball, whatever. It's a good omen, okay? It's a very good omen. And we're bringing it back. You see below me, folks, the countdown clock has started. We're filming this Friday afternoon, 7 days, 20 hours, 28 minutes, 53, 52, 51 seconds. And we're getting close to our subscriber goal that, according to sources close to me, it guarantees Michigan's going to beat Ohio State if we hit 16,250 subscribers. Only 20 more, probably. Guaranteed, probably. Money back guaranteed from somebody else, not from me. So just subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. We will have the fastest Michigan football game Michigan football post-game show after the Maryland game tomorrow evening. My number one key to victory for the Wolverines at Maryland tomorrow is Cade McNamara must throw the ball. Must throw the ball probably at a higher rate and maybe at a higher efficiency inside the red zone than he has in any game this year. Outside of Michigan State game, he put some pretty big numbers up on the board. And there's a few reasons for that. As we take a look at Cade McNamara's stats last week versus Penn State, one of the better games he's had as far as making throws in and around the red zone, okay? Obviously, the first Roman Wilson touchdown was from the 21-yard line. Didn't count, but it was a beautiful throw right down the seam, right in Roman Wilson's hand. And then another throw shortly after that in traffic inside the 3-yard line. But there were 2 or 3 or 4 linebackers within 2 feet of that ball. He just did a fake handoff and right over the defensive lineman to Roman Wilson, who made a great catch with some sort of cast that he is still has his hand he's playing with to protect the injury that he suffered earlier on in the season. So I expect Michigan to throw the ball for a few reasons. Number one, this Maryland defense is, frankly, it's not that good, and it really struggles against the pass. So they're getting up 260 yards-ish, 258.2 yards per game, 105th in the country. That's right around the same range that Michigan State was 3 weeks ago when they played Michigan. Cade put up 383 against them. Michigan State now has the worst pass defense in America. They're better against the run. Okay, number 77 against the run. Total defense, number 91. They're giving up a lot of yards and a lot of points. Number 102 in America, 4 points. So that's the Maryland. That's what we're dealing with, the Maryland defense. I think 2 things need to happen, you're accomplishing 2 things if Cade McNamara throws the ball 35, 40 times. Number one, it's prep work for Ohio State. All right, Jim Harbaugh has only scored over 30 points one time against Ohio State in his 5 matchups, and that was the year that they gave up 62 points. All right? So didn't really work out that well. If you think you're going to keep Ohio State under 30 this year, I've got some land, I've got some beachfront property in North Texas to sell you, okay? So Michigan's going to have to pass the ball against Ohio State. They're going to have to score 35, 40, maybe more points to win that game. Number 2, Blake Corum, out, missed most of the game a couple weeks ago, missed all the game against Penn State last week. Hassan Haskins has really had to just carry this team on his back a lot of the times from an offensive production standpoint. So you got to go easy on Hassan. You need him 100% against Ohio State in a week from now. So I would hope if Michigan is up early, right? If they are up by 10 points, 14 points, get other running backs in there. Get Donovan Edwards, get some other freshman running back, et cetera, et cetera. You've got a lot of opportunities to get other guys in the game, pass the ball a little bit more. Hell, go A.J. Henning on more reverses if you want to. But I'll ask you guys this question before we continue on with our keys to the game. How many passing yards? Give me an over or under down in the comments. 250 passing yards for Cade McNamara tomorrow versus Maryland. If you think he's going to go over, type O. If you think he's going to go under that, type U. You may get hit with the YouTube ad break right now. So if you do, go down and scroll down in the comments. I'll pin this below the video. Reply O or U. Scroll back up. Hopefully the ad will be over. Next up, another running back must emerge. And I alluded to the guy we're going to talk about now just a moment ago. Hassan Haskins, let's take a look at his stats in here in a second, coming up from the last 2 games when Blake Corum has been out. 58 carries. That sounds like Chris Perry back in 2003 or something like that, getting 58 carries across 2 games. Michigan has not done that with Haskins at all this year. And really, under Josh Gattis, they've really rotated multiple backs in a game, sometimes to their detriment, like in 2020, sometimes to their advantage, like in 2021 so far. But with no Blake Corum, 58 carries, 324 yards, 1 touchdown, and has added 6 catches the last 2 weeks in victories for Michigan. And unless something drastically changes, I don't think it will. I don't expect it to change at all. Blake Corum hasn't practiced all week. There's some hope that he may play against Ohio State, suffering from a high ankle sprain, but he's not going to play against Maryland. He's not even going to make the trip. This is his hometown team. He's from Baltimore. If he was going to be able to play, even if he was 80%, 90%, he'd still probably make the trip, see some family, et cetera, et cetera. Don't expect either one of those things to happen. So it's your time, Donovan Edwards. It is your time to step up. All signals out there and all reasonable people would say that Hassan Haskins, despite having 2 years of eligibility after this year because of the COVID year not counting, etc., he could come back for 2 more years, but I doubt he will. I would say it's probably 90% that Hassan Haskins goes pro next year, even if he's only going to be maybe a 3rd or 4th round pick at best, hopefully higher. But another running back, Donovan Edwards, must emerge in this game. And if you guys think you can pick scores, pick bets, know what teams are going to score, who's going to win, make sure you get started with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Bet on the Michigan-Maryland game. Put some money on the Wolverines to beat Ohio State. Again, go to chatsports.com/GoBlue. It's the link. You get 125% deposit bonus. So you put in 100, get an extra 125. Put in 200, an extra 250, etc. But if you use that link, you have to use that link so they can track you to this promotion. You get this Michigan football Jordan brand jersey from us to you. So once you get going with BetUS, you make your first deposit. Everything goes through. You see it in your credit card transaction, etc. Email us here at the office, jersey@chatsports.com to redeem. Once you do, we'll get your size, get your information, make sure your account is in good standing, and we will ship off a Michigan football jersey to you as soon as we do that. So get going with BetUS, then email us, jersey@chatsports.com to redeem. We'll get your size, your address, ship one off to you in a matter of days after that. So get going, take advantage of that promotion, get a jersey for yourself for Christmas, and get one for a friend, family member, whatever it is, but this is the best sports promotion in the game. All right, it's almost Michigan-Ohio State week. Got 7 days and some change till the game, and I've been getting trolled and smack talk from Ohio State fans for a couple years, but it's just heating up. And if they win against Michigan State tomorrow, it will be on tilt, and I need your help. So go ahead and follow me at James Yoder on Twitter, and anytime I tweet, just get in there and tell an Ohio State fan to go pound sand. They're ugly. Ohio State cheats. Whatever you got to say, but I'm fighting too many battles on Twitter. I need your help as a Michigan fan. Follow me on Twitter and get going in the comments. I need to fight. We need to win the Twitter battle if we're going to win the battle on the field next week. Next up, no sacks allowed. After being the best team in the country over the first 7 or so weeks of the season, 7, 8 weeks of the season, Michigan has actually struggled in the past 2 games. 8 sacks total this season so far, Michigan. 5 in the last 2 games. And one of those could have been the season changer, right? It was Cade McNamara with 2.5 minutes left at Michigan's 20-some-odd yard line. Penn State recovered. They had any offense. They could have scored a touchdown, and we'd have been talking about a whole different ballgame from there. Michigan's defense held them. 3 points. Michigan scored a touchdown with Eric All on the next possession. But you can't keep that going if you're Michigan. You can't have an awesome offensive line against teams like Wisconsin and Washington and, hell, even Michigan State, right? And then against Northwestern and against Indiana and against Penn State, start giving up sacks. So that is my number 3 key to the game for Michigan. Next up, the interior defensive line, right? This is a prep in a lot of ways for Ohio State, okay? This interior defensive line we thought was going to be really challenging this year. We didn't think they were going to make a ton of plays, not a ton of depth. We thought the defensive line would be the weakness of the team. It's turned out to be maybe a strength, maybe the best strength of the team. But to beat Ohio State, you're not just going to have to rely on Ojabo and Aiden Hutchinson. These 2 guys here, Chris Hinton and Mazi Smith, let's just call him Mazi Smith. That's a better name. I like Mazi a little bit better. They've made plays. They haven't been gashed. They haven't been pushed up the line like you've seen in the past with Wisconsin running for 300 yards against Michigan the last couple of years and all that stuff. But they haven't made game-changing plays. One of these guys is going to have to make a game-changing play against Ohio State to keep that one winnable. And they're not doing it so far this year. They're doing what they're told, right? Which is clog the middle, keep these guys, keep these defensive ends in single coverage. Maybe one of you guys gets a double team inside. But eventually, you got to get a sack. You got to get a tackle for a loss. Hinton's got a couple forced fumbles in the year, and that's good. That's the kind of play. Sacks, forced fumbles, hitting a running back. Hell, hitting a running back behind the line of scrimmage, because I think between the 2 of them, what do they have? 1 and 2.5 tackles for losses for your starting interior defensive lineman for the entire year. That seems like they're not getting it done. They're playing the role. They're playing it pretty well, but one of them's got to make a game-changing play. Let's start this week against Maryland. Keep it going against Ohio State next Saturday. One more reminder here. Number 6 Wolverines heading to Maryland. Predict the score down in the comments. First one to predict it, get it right. I'll Venmo you $25 on Sunday or Monday. You just got to use the hashtag SCORE with your prediction. Of course, let us know who you're going to have win, Michigan or Maryland. Of course, you think it's Michigan, but you got to say it. And no editing your post has to be in before kickoff. You guys know the rules there. No shenanigans, no editing your post after the game, all that stuff. We've seen it before. Use hashtag SCORE. Let's see if one of you guys can get 25 bones. Next up, in a continued effort to beat Ohio State, start practicing against a live opponent who wants to beat you, who wants to get up bowl eligible, who wants to pull off a monumental upset for the program in Maryland. Start practicing what Ohio State's done to you for the last few years, which is line up 3 guys on one side of the field and have one kind of go long, one go across the middle, and the other one kind of sneak in behind them and just streak across the 5-6 yards in front of the line of scrimmage and then end up going 70 for a touchdown. It's happened in 2018, happened in 2019. Of course, it would have happened in 2020. And Maryland is potentially going to try to do this, all right? Let's pretend it's Ohio State tomorrow against Maryland. Pretend you're playing the Buckeyes. Whatever defense you're going to want to run that you think can stop this Ohio State offense, run it against Maryland. Don't allow any crossing routes underneath. Obviously, you don't want to give up long touchdowns over the top. But if you're going to give those up to Maryland in one-on-one coverage, you're going to give them up to Ohio State all day long. What I expect Maryland to do, if they do some over-the-middle stuff, is to rely on this guy, right? Potentially the biggest recruit in Maryland history in the past couple of decades, at least in the modern recruiting era, at least one of them, is Rakim Jarrett. He was a top 25 player in the 2020 class. He's a true sophomore, redshirt freshman with COVID year, etc. He's having a hell of a year. They've had a lot of injuries so far this year, Maryland, and so they've been relying on him and their tight end over the last few games a lot more than they did early on in the season. He's one that can go over. He's a speedster. He can take that underneath route. You line up 2 or 3 guys on one side of the field. It's like 2 guys go up over. He sneaks behind them. We've seen it plenty of times with Ohio State and Michigan, and I think they'll do that a little bit with him tomorrow against this Michigan defense. Practice it. Stop it. Don't let him get any underneath stuff. I mean, just remember, 2019 season, every time Michigan had 3rd and 17 on defense, Don Brown's defense, single coverage, guy comes streaking across 5 yards and then go for 10-12 after the catch, get the first down. Don't let Maryland do that with the speedy Rakim Jarrett tomorrow. You get it right then. it's going to make it a lot easier to get it right versus Ohio State. All right, tomorrow against Maryland, post-game show. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications, and if you don't have any of those done but still want to watch it, we'll still have you, but, you know, come on, subscribe to the channel. About 30 minutes or so after the game, we will have our Michigan football Maryland post-game show, instant reaction. Sunday, we'll have some overreaction, talk about what's going on in social media, and then Sunday afternoon, it is all Bosa. Beat Ohio State again, wall-to-wall coverage next week. Michigan, Ohio State, next Saturday, high noon in Ann Arbor.